Have you ever looked up at the night sky, seen thousands of twinkling stars, and wondered if somewhere out there intelligent beings like or unlike us might exist? While modern science tirelessly searches for extraterrestrial life, another question quietly echoes: could the Bible, the most revered book for billions, have mentioned or hinted at this thousands of years ago? If ancient records contain details about beings from other worlds, why are they not openly taught or mentioned? Was a part of the truth hidden to preserve a pure religious belief? Or was it simply that people of the time lacked the language and concepts to describe what they saw? Images of fiery chariots, angels descending from heaven, falling stars, and blinding lights have been passed down for generations in the form of divine stories. But if seen from another angle, they could be memories of encounters with civilizations beyond Earth. Today, we will embark on a journey to decode the mysteries buried within the pages of the Bible and discover whether the universe we inhabit truly belongs to humanity alone. To understand why the question of whether the Bible hides something about extraterrestrial life is so captivating, we must turn back the clock to the era in which these sacred writings were formed. The Bible is not a single book written at one time, but a collection of dozens of books, authored by various individuals at different times and under different circumstances, spanning centuries. Its contents originated in oral tradition, then recorded on parchment or papyrus, later translated, edited, and carefully selected before forming the Bible as we know it today. Each historical period and each culture that touched the Bible left its imprint, from ancient Israel, Babylon, Persia, and Greece to Rome. These influences shaped not only the language and imagery but also how people interpreted unusual phenomena in the past. In the Old Testament, many passages describe majestic scenes, bright clouds, thunder, fire from heaven, wheels within wheels, or people taken into heaven without dying. To the ancient eye, these were signs of God's mighty presence, miracles beyond understanding. But to us today, accustomed to rockets, airplanes, and flying saucers, such descriptions suggest technology and the possible appearance of beings from other worlds. More importantly, not all ancient texts were included in today's Bible. During the process of canon formation, especially after the Council of Nicaea in the 4th century, the Church carefully selected and excluded many books deemed incompatible with official doctrine. Some of these excluded texts contain strange stories about the sons of God descending from heaven, about giants, and about encounters beyond human understanding. When such elements were set aside, they became lost fragments, giving rise to numerous theories that perhaps part of the truth about life beyond Earth was buried under the dust of time and religious and political decisions. This is the backdrop for tracing clues in both the canon and the banned books, seeking the threads of this mystery. One of the most intriguing texts when it comes to the mystery of extraterrestrial life in the biblical context is the Book of Enoch, a work excluded from the official Bible yet persistent in ancient religious tradition. It tells of the Watchers, angels who descended from heaven to earth, imparting to humans advanced knowledge far beyond their age. Metallurgy, weapon-making, cosmetics, medicine, astronomy, and mysterious magical arts. The most controversial part is the story of the sons of God, marrying human women and producing giant offspring known as the Nephilim. In religious terms, this was the fall of the angels, but in the lens of the ancient astronaut theory, it could be evidence of genetic hybridization between humans and an intelligent species from beyond Earth. Equally mysterious is the vision of the prophet Ezekiel in the Old Testament. He recounted seeing a great cloud with flashing fire and bright light all around it, in the middle of which was a figure like a man. moving on wheels within wheels, each able to move in any direction without turning. Traditional theology interprets this as a symbol of God's glory, but many UFO researchers see a remarkable resemblance to a multi-directional spacecraft. Another story that reminds many of a modern abduction account is that of Elijah, the prophet who did not die but was taken up into heaven by a chariot of fire and horses of fire in a whirlwind. In ancient language, this could easily be how a witness described a flying vehicle of immense power. The Tower of Babel is another event with intriguing implications. Humanity united to build a tower reaching the heavens, but God came down and confused their language, halting the project. Some theorists suggest this was the deliberate intervention of an advanced force to prevent humans from reaching a certain technological level. In the New Testament, the Book of Revelation contains symbolic yet haunting images, stars falling to earth, the abyss opening, and creatures like locusts with human faces emerging. From a modern perspective, these could be visions of advanced weaponry or beings from another planet. Other non-canonical works like the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Baruch, or the Gospel of Thomas speak of heavenly realms or other worlds, concepts that might correspond to other dimensions or distant planets. Though not part of the official Bible, these works persist in small communities, as scattered fragments of a larger picture about humanity's origins and place in the cosmos. Such stories, books, and figures have fueled endless debate. Are they merely religious metaphors, or are they authentic testimonies of ancient human encounters with extraterrestrial civilizations? There are many reasons why stories, images, and details that could point to extraterrestrial life in ancient texts were omitted or interpreted purely through a religious lens. The first is the desire to protect the orthodox theological system that places humanity at the center of creation. If the existence of other intelligent species were acknowledged, immediate questions would arise. Do they share the same creator? Are they fallen into sin? And do they require salvation through Jesus Christ as humans do? These questions could undermine the foundation of faith built over millennia. The second reason is power. Throughout history, religion has been more than a spiritual guide, it has been a tool for societal control. This authority relied on the Church's exclusive position as the representative of truth and salvation. If even one story suggested humanity was not alone, that position could be destabilized, threatening both political and religious control. The ancient astronaut hypothesis, embraced by many modern researchers, offers an alternative explanation for biblical phenomena. According to this theory, the angels, or watchers, in the Book of Enoch were not merely divine beings but interstellar travelers from elsewhere, bringing with them technology and knowledge far beyond human capacity. Their contact with humanity left deep imprints on culture and religion, later transformed into divine imagery to fit theological frameworks. Some scholars believe descriptions of fiery chariots, lights from heaven, or wheels within wheels, were the attempts of ancient witnesses to describe flying technology and physical phenomena they could not understand. In a world without concepts like jet engines, electricity, or spacecraft, they used familiar images from daily life, fire, wind, clouds, thunder, to convey their experiences. Ezekiel's vision or Elijah's ascent to heaven could thus be ancient accounts of interplanetary contact wrapped in mythic language. The existence of the Nephilim, giants in the Old Testament, also fuels theories of genetic hybridization. If, as the Book of Enoch states, the sons of God united with human women, producing hybrid beings of extraordinary strength, it would align with giant legends from Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, and the Americas. Some researchers argue these are not myths but historical memories of interbreeding between humans and extraterrestrials. Seen this way, the supernatural events of the Bible are not purely miracles but traces of interplanetary encounters. Yet such interpretations are controversial, challenging traditional religious understanding and prompting the exclusion or reinterpretation of these details to preserve long-established doctrines. The stories, books, and figures once omitted or reinterpreted are not just the seeds for controversial theories. They also have a profound effect on how humanity understands itself and its place in the universe. For religious scholars, texts describing watchers, fiery chariots, or Nephilim open an entirely new approach where the boundaries between mythology, religion, and the possibility of extraterrestrial life blur. For proponents of the ancient astronaut theory, these are fragments suggesting that humanity may have once interacted with an advanced civilization, leaving marks still visible in culture and faith. In the 20th and 21st centuries, the rise of space science and aviation technology transformed our reading of ancient descriptions. Images of glowing clouds, multi-directional flying objects, or lights from heaven suddenly seem more understandable when considered alongside spacecraft, satellites, or UFOs. Many now revisit the Bible with skepticism, asking whether the prophets truly witnessed purely divine phenomena or were describing technological events they could not explain. Another impact of these mysteries is the way they foster dialogue between science and religion, two domains often at odds. If ancient texts truly contain information about extraterrestrial life, theologians would have to revisit many core concepts, while scientists might be encouraged to expand research in archaeology, linguistics, and cosmology. For believers, these stories can provoke two opposite reactions. Some feel threatened by the possibility of truths lying outside familiar doctrines, while others find their faith strengthened by the idea that the Creator may have brought forth not only humanity but many forms of life across the cosmos. Either way, such debates keep ancient texts alive, not just for their religious value but for their potential to reveal humanity's greatest secret, whether we are truly alone in the universe. Today, as space science advances rapidly, the question of extraterrestrial life is no longer purely science fiction. Missions by NASA, ESA, and SpaceX are targeting worlds like Mars, Europa, or Enceladus, places with the potential for liquid water, a crucial ingredient for life. The discovery of even the simplest life form beyond Earth would fundamentally change humanity's self-perception in the universe. In this context, ancient details in the Bible are re-examined in the light of modern knowledge, leading many scholars and believers to wonder, did our ancestors have contact with life from the stars, and if so, why was it not made public? Interest in this topic is also fueled by the interplay of religion, history, and popular culture. Films, novels, and investigative documentaries often use biblical stories of fiery chariots, watchers, or Nephilim, framing them as encounters with extraterrestrial civilizations. This appeals not only to younger generations, who enjoy blending scientific discovery with spiritual mystery, but also sparks serious academic debate. On a deeper level, this subject touches humanity's primal need to seek meaning and origins. If the accounts in the Book of Enoch or Ezekiel's visions were indeed testimonies of interplanetary encounters, it suggests humanity is not the sole center of creation and may be part of a much larger web of life. Conversely, if they are purely symbolic, studying them still reveals how ancient people interpreted the unexplainable. The appeal of this topic in the modern era lies in its blend of scientific exploration, imagination, and profound questions of faith. In a world where science and religion often stand apart, the mystery of extraterrestrial life in the Bible serves as a potential bridge, urging humanity to seek answers not only in laboratories but also within the sacred texts that have endured for millennia. From the Book of Enoch's watchers and Nephilim, to Ezekiel's vision of wheels within wheels and radiant light, to Elijah's ascent in a fiery chariot and the symbolic imagery of Revelation, all combine into a mysterious and compelling picture. They could be religious metaphors or ancient memories of encounters with extraterrestrial life. Either way, these stories challenge us to view the Bible from a new angle, where the lines between faith, history, and scientific theory are thin. What is certain is that beyond its role as a spiritual foundation for billions, the Bible is a vast repository of human knowledge and memory, containing details still not fully deciphered. If extraterrestrial life truly exists and once contacted humanity, it would not only change our understanding of the universe but also force us to redefine faith and humanity's role in creation. Conversely, if it is all symbolism and myth, studying these accounts still deepens our insight into human consciousness, imagination, and how our ancestors explained what lay beyond their understanding. The mystery remains, waiting to be unraveled. And the journey to find answers is not solely the domain of science or religion, but a union of both, driven by humanity's eternal desire to know where we come from and whether we are truly alone in this vast cosmos. If you are drawn to this question, share it so others may join, subscribe to continue the journey, and prepare for future explorations where humanity's oldest secrets may be revealed at any moment.